Hi, everybody. DJ Yokley, and it is one of my favorite times of the week sitting down with one of my mentors, my role models, and one of the first ever interviews here on your sports network. It is the head ball coach of the South Range Raiders, Coach Dan Yeagley. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, DJ?
Doing wonderful, Coach. Doing wonderful. It is season 4 of Coach's Corner at South Range for football. It seems like we blinked and we're here. From the first ever time that we sat down in your coach's office and was just talking about YSN to now we're talking about South Range and 52 other schools. Coach, first of all, thank you for everything that you've done for the network. But how unbelievable has this ride been for you so far?
It's been fantastic, and my goodness, I can remember the first time we sat down and talked. It was just like yesterday, like you said, and how wonderful it is, and how wonderful it is to have you on board. And my goodness, I've enjoyed watching YSN grow. I mean, my goodness, if you can't jump on board, it's shame on you guys, because this is a fantastic thing, and it's all about the kids, which I appreciate more, because that's the first thing we talked about, just being about the kids. And our kids appreciate it. Our community appreciates it. I appreciate you and all you've done for us. I mean, thank you so much. Thank you. I should be the one interviewing you.
No. Let's hope that never happens. We will always have a seat in the booth for South Range if something ever occurs.
You go ESPN on us or something.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Coach, I mean, obviously this is a little bit different setup. You and I talked a little bit before we go on the air about – I love being able to sit with you and talk about life, talk about coaching, talk about football, other sports, and other aspects of what we do outside of sports. But with COVID, it has changed the entire game for so many people. Obviously, you know, we have to do this virtually a lot of times until we get the okay. How has COVID really impacted your coaching style and the way, I mean, you're a teacher as well. How has it impacted you personally?
You know what? It's impacted me and my family a lot, because first of all, we have some not just Kelly and I, but our family, my parents and her parents, and we got to be careful. And we have 2 little ones running around. Matter of fact, the 3rd one coming up in February. I'm going to be a grandpa again, and yes, and little things like that. So we got to be careful, and it's impacted our lives a lot. But you know what? There's nothing better than June 1st when we got together as a team and those kids came together. I mean, there was, social distancing. You're supposed to do all this stuff, but they were so happy to be together and see each other again, because it's been a long 3 months before that happened. And it was so awesome seeing those kids react to each other. And right then you knew this group was going to be special, just because of how they just grew together as a group on that very first day. I mean, we didn't get a whole lot done. There was a lot of friendship, a lot of talking, a lot of stories being told by all of us, coaches and kids both. And it impacted the way we teach. It impacts the way we're coaching. It's impacting the way we play. But it's for South Range, it's a time that we actually grew together afterwards, when we actually got to come back together.
And one of my favorite love stories is you and your wife. I mean, the ultimate love. And we had a chance to talk at the South Range golf outing. And It's obviously, this has been a great experience. COVID has been able to, allow you to spend a lot more time with Kelly. I mean, talk to us about what it's like to be able to kind of step back from some of your things that you've been doing for, 2.5 decades of head coaching, and be able to kind of refocus and recalibrate a little bit with family.
Well, anxieties step in. I mean, my goodness, you start getting anxious. You start thinking about, oh my goodness, what's the team doing? What are you doing? You hear coaches talk about, oh, we did Google Classrooms, we did virtual this, the virtual that. We didn't do a whole lot of that. We did some emails to some kids and stuff like that. But and I guess that's maybe what made the time when we came together a little bit more important as a team. But Kelly and I, we just spent a lot of time together. I mean, we were quarantined, I guess, whatever you want to call it. We were just homebound, and luckily, when my anxieties start going crazy, I have her, and she's the one that she's the rock of our family. She really is. And She pulled me down a couple times, say, just relax, everything's gonna be okay. Everybody's like this, everybody in the States going through the same thing, and she's a blessing over and over and over again. And I'm just so fortunate to have her by my side. And we've been married a long time, and she understands what I'm going through. She's been a coach's wife for a long time.
I love it.
She understands, and she knows that it's a crazy time, and not being with the kids made it even crazier. But being with her was very special, and we got to spend some time. We drank a lot of coffee together in the mornings and everything else, and we did things that we just did a lot of talking. We did a lot of our us time, so it was a lot of fun. But she was the one that got me through this, especially when my anxiety started going up because I wasn't around the kids, and we were getting behind, I thought, and everything else. But like I said, she's the rock. She's awesome. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady.
Coach, it's been a roller coaster, obviously, all summer for you and for your staff. I mean, when you saw the Big Ten cancel their season, obviously there's talks right now of them coming back. But when you saw them cancel their season, what were the emotions going through you personally? Because I know a lot of coaches and a lot of ADs in the area thought there's no chance they're going to cancel Ohio State and let us play.
That's exactly right. I mean, we got together as a coaching staff right after that and said, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? I mean, we've been working there for a month or so, or 2 months before that happened. And we thought, well, this is what's going to happen. It's not going to be good. And luckily, the governor and lieutenant governor said, we can do this if we abide by some of the rules and everything else. And luckily, we've had a lot of coaches on our side. The Ohio High School Football Coach Association and OHSAA, they fought for us. They really did. And I don't know. I don't even want to imagine what would have happened to the kids after working so hard. Not just our kids, but all the kids across Ohio, if they didn't have this chance. Because football is a special sport, really is. I mean, it's a family. I mean, we grew together as a family. We fight together as a family. It's a true team sport, and it would have broke my heart. I don't know what I would have done if we couldn't have gotten out onto the field Friday night and or had to wait till spring. It would have got crazy in a hurry, that's for sure. I don't know. It would have been tough.
So let's go from being on the downslope of thinking that the season's over to last Friday night. You tee the ball up at South Range Raiders Stadium, and what feeling is going through you at that point, thinking what we've been through, we've come through it on the other side. We're here, and there's a little piece of normalcy that is coming out here at South Range.
When we scrimmaged the week before that against Mogador, I mean, it was a great scrimmage and everything else, but there was no fans in the stands. I mean, that was a little eerie, actually, because the South Range community is so supportive of our program and how they embrace us and follow us and support us. It was a little weird. And then all of a sudden, here we are Friday night against Poland at home, and we had a good crowd. I mean, our administration, Mrs. Carlson, Mr. Farron, and everybody got everything set up right, and got as many people there as we were allowed by the Board of Health. And it was actually a nice evening to play football, because even though there's pouring down rain and everything else, and monsoon came through, or hurricane, or whatever you want to call it, the faithful still stayed there and cheered us on, and it was a wonderful evening. But it was different. But thank goodness we were able to kick off on Friday night. My goodness, we were there. I got there, 7 o'clock kickoff. I think I was there by noon. The kids were there by 2 o'clock. I had to have them sit down. They were just there bouncing off the walls. I mean, they were showing up in the locker room. They were showing up on the field. Had to get them off the field because it was pouring down rain and everything else. But there was so much excitement from these kids. I mean, if the governor would have saw that would have been the thank you and everything else of why this is so important. Just because, oh my goodness, it was special. It really was. And to see the jubilation of the kids before the game even started was phenomenal. And I know that wasn't just South Range; it was everybody across Ohio.
Now, people are typically accustomed to South Range Springfield week one, especially over the last few years. That gets axed because you have to play conference play, but it's not a whole lot of a shift in mindset because Poland has become a natural rival inside the NE8. So when you're looking across the field at the Poland Bulldogs, naturally that is going to spark a couple extra juices in the old system, and you come away with a big win. It was a well executed game plan. You knew what you had going in, and it was almost, Coach, like you were playing against yourself. And all the great coaches say, listen, we're not worried about the other team, we're worried about what we do, and if we execute well, we're going to win that ball game. And it looked like that was plans A, B, and C, because you did it so well to beat Poland. And really, as an underdog, most pundits were putting you at home. How did that feel to be able to walk in? And obviously, you always look at game tape, and you can always do better, as you always say. However, you looked at that game tape, I'm sure, on Friday night or Saturday morning or whenever it was, and there was probably a smile on your face.
There was. I mean, my goodness, it was a great game. Hats off to the kids. I mean, staying focused through the hour rain delay or the lightning delay, staying focused through the downpours in the third quarter or fourth quarter, the shortened halftime. There's a lot of things that went on during that game that it would have been easy for our kids to be frazzled and not be able to come back down and focus on the game. But they did. They stayed focused, and hats off to them. I mean, because the kids played their hearts out and played really hard, and they played South Range football. But hats off to my assistant coaches, because they did a lot of coaching during that hour storm delay, and they did a lot of coaching in that short halftime. And even as the game went on, had a couple injuries, had some kids running in and out. We had some playing a lot of young kids, and it was a great job by, like I said, my assistant coaches getting those kids ready on the fly, because it was literally on the fly because of how quick we had to get some of those kids ready to play. And hats off to all of them. And I just, so happy for the kids and how they performed, and so proud of them. And we talked about it on Saturday when we watched the film, and we made a lot of mistakes still, as all teams do. And, we learn from it. And like Coach Tressel always used to say, it's easier to learn from a victory than it is a loss. But we did a lot of learning, and we did a lot of trying to get some things corrected before this week. But it was a great victory for the program. And, Poland is a phenomenal team. Coach Williams does a great job. Look what they did last year and the years before then. And like I said, that was a great program victory for the South Range Raiders.
Now, I got to ask you, because I know you're a traditionalist, I was a little bit nervous when I saw the Raiders trot out with white unis on and a different look for the Raiders, especially at home. Why the shakeup?
Well, our uniforms got lost in the offseason. So I have last year when we sent them out to get cleaned, they didn't come back, and all of a sudden we don't have any home uniform. So luckily Poland was able to go with their blues, and we were able to go with our whites. Now we have them now. They're actually got new ones. So they still can't find them, so they had to replace them. And so we got some new unis coming on. So in 2 weeks, when we're back home again, we'll have our new uniforms on. And we did wear our new pants. Our new pants were in, so we wore our whites with our new burgundy pants. But it was that was a little crazy. I mean, just welcome to 2020.
Right.
What else could happen? So
unbelievable. I had no idea that story, so I apologize for having to shine a light on that. But I thought to myself, wait a minute. I know Coach Yeagley, and I know he's a very, because people have approached you about putting logos on the helmet. People have approached, to get it to go from, what is it, shiny or whatever to matte was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, I know that was huge, and it was a little different. Just going, like I said, having to wear our whites at home, but the kids embraced it. They understand. They laughed, and we were okay with it. Didn't affect the game plan at all, and it was just, like I said, we got new uniforms out of it, so we're going to go ahead and run with that. Especially in this time when limited fans means limited money, so you're not going to have those kind of finances to be able to buy new uniforms or anything like that. But luckily, like I said, unfortunately we lost our uniforms, but luckily we were able to get them replaced. And So yeah, next time you see us at home, we'll have our new unis on. Now we might even wear our gold pants with our new unis. So because they'll even match with them a little bit, like Central Michigan a little bit. And
Wow.
so we're gonna do some mixing and matching and have a little fun with it too. And my seniors are into that. So whatever they decide. So I'm gonna let them decide.
You go from Penn State to Oregon in a year, Coach. Come on.
Oh, no. So no, we're not putting anything on the sides of our helmets. So.
Can we get are they the same uniforms as before, or was there a little bit of flair to them?
No flare. We're actually flared down a little bit. So it's actually just a nice plain uniform. We have some gold yoking around the necks and the arms, and it's just a nice tackle 12 number, and they'll look nice. You'll like them, and nice and plain, and it's wonderful. It's who we are.
I'll make sure that I get Paul Munson on the case. Maybe he'll track down the old uniforms for you. I know that he'd love to have one here. So, all right, Coach, let's turn the page to this week. Girard, a very good team. So no rest for the wicked. And I mean, you're talking about a team that 2 years ago was in the state championship and is in your conference. A 35-0 win for Girard last week. I don't think anybody scored in the first half. All of a sudden they explode in the second. What are you expecting with this Girard team? What are you preparing for?
You know what? I expect Girard. I mean, Girard is Girard. I mean, they're a phenomenal team. Coach Pearson does a phenomenal job preparing his kids and playing what he does. I mean, it really is. I mean, you sit there and watch him in the state championship game. You sit there. Last year we had to play him in the league play, and my goodness, they are just a great program. It really is. And we talk about us being a family. They're a lot like us. He's a coach that graduated from Girard. I mean, I know he's been there. A lot of his coaches have been with them for a long time. The players believe in what they're doing, and they're full of talent. I mean, they have a ton of talent, and they're even young, which is even scarier. But we know that we have to come out and play our very best. We have to play South Range football. And, we can't worry about what they're doing because they're going to do what they do when we know that. And we got to worry about what we're doing, and we got to take care of the football and play South Range football. We got to play good defense. It's a huge contrast from Poland. Poland's going to tighten it all in and run right at you and use their size and power, and then all of a sudden these guys are going to use their speed and finesse and try to get outside. So it's going to be a completely different ball game for us, and we got to come in with a good game plan. I mean, they got the running back Maddox is a hard running back, and their quarterback Del Garbino is a great quarterback starter for him last year, and they have another Melito on the outside, and a lot of new faces inside and outside and everywhere else. But it's a very talented team and well coached, and it's going to take 48 minutes of hard-nosed football to beat them.
South Range Football Coaches Corner brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Any commercial, residential work you're looking for, make sure you head over to Joe Dickey Electric, proud sponsor of your sports network. Coach, when you take the field on Friday night, I mean, what are some of the biggest things that you, top of the board, your grease board, your chalkboard, whatever you have there in Girard, what are you writing down? We need to do this on offense to succeed and to walk away 2-0.
Well, we got to move the sticks. I mean, we really do. Their defense is pretty good, and like I said, they got those talented people on offense. So guess what? They're playing defense also. Right. We got to be able to move the sticks. I mean, we got to get those first downs, and we got to get their offense, keep their offense on the sidelines, keep it off the field. And if we can do that, we stand a great chance. And we just literally got to move the sticks offensively. That's the key. Hold on to the football, no turnovers. I know every coach in the world says that, but how true it is. And and defensively, we got to be so disciplined against that offense because all of a sudden, if one person breaks down, they're going to throw it to them, or they're going to run that gap, or the quarterback's going to pull it and run all over the place. We got to play very disciplined football. And so offensively and defensively, I guess that's the biggest message. We just got to be disciplined and play South Range football. Very good. And defensively, you kind of stole the thunder there. Again, playing South Range football. I guess we've been around each other so long that I knew what you're going to ask.
Yeah, you knew where I was going. All right, so let's look at it this way. The NE8, one of the most dynamic conferences in the entire state, really. When you look at the 8 teams that make it up, any team can win on any given night. When you look at the schedule that you've had, naturally there's going to be one team missing. When you got your schedule and looked at it, I mean, so there were some schools and some different conferences that said, listen, we actually got a break. I feel like it was the opposite in the NE8. You've got to be ready every week. Given that you make the playoffs or not, you're going to get everybody's best because there's a conference title at stake. Do you feel like this is going to better prepare you? Do you feel this? I almost, and I hate even saying this, I feel like there's that pixie dust that you had a few years ago when we first started this thing. There's a group of men. You talk about Patron, who is an unbelievable leader for you, Dylan Dominguez as well, and the list goes on and on. There are so many similarities to this team and that team that was, what, 3 years ago, that do you feel like you got another run in you to make a run at state, even given the circumstances?
Well, you know what, you've been around me a long time. You know that I'm not even looking at that yet.
I'm trying.
I'm worried about Girard. And you're trying to look ahead. The NE8 is a phenomenal league. I mean, my goodness, the coaches in this league are phenomenal. They've been very supportive of me and helping me out because I'm the new guy coming in. They've been a blessing. And, it's a hard-fought conference. Every week you got to come ready. I mean, you got to bring your A game every single week. There's not that week off where you can sit down and relax or get somebody healthy. I mean, you can't. You have to be totally ready every single week. And it doesn't matter if it's a Poland or a Girard or a Hubbard or a Struthers or Jefferson or whoever. It doesn't matter. You got to come ready to play every single week. And that's a tribute to the league and the coaches and the players that make up this league. I mean, it's phenomenal. And I'm very, very happy to be part of this league and be part of the system, because it's like you said, it's one of the best leagues around. And every week you got to come battling. And I think it's going to help all of us, not just South Range, but all the teams in the league. When we get into the playoffs and start making runs, you're going to see the NE8 shine again, just because of how we're preparing each other for that week 7, I guess it is,
right.
Week 7 in October. So it's exciting. Can't wait. But like I said, focus on Girard now.
I tried. I had to try.
No, Girard.
All right. So if we're not gonna talk about the future, let's talk about the present. And your present quarterback right now, Michael Patron, had a great start to his season this year, but he had his coming out party sort of last year faced with adversity and trying to step up in the place of Isaac Allegretto. Do you think those reps kind of created the monster that could be this year with Michael Patron?
Oh, I think it was huge. I mean, it was just coming in and finishing week 10 and going into week 11 and 12 and being the leader. I mean, he's a great young man and a great leader, like you said, and a good quarterback, and makes things happen. But he's surrounded by a lot of talent, like you said, and like you talked about, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. He's really excited about Dylan and how hard he's been running, and you got Shane Lindstrom out there, and Luke Kronbacher and Jake Gehring that he's throwing it around to. Excuse me, and he's got people around him. He's got a great supporting cast, but he's done a great job being a leader. I mean, he's been there every day. He's worked his butt off, and he's got us to where we are now. And like I said, between him and the supporting cast, it's a pretty special group, and we're gonna do what we can. I mean, that's we got past Poland, which was thank goodness, and now we got Girard, which is it's not an easy task neither, and he knows that. He's been focused all week and knows that we have to play great football to beat them.
All right, Coach, as we always do, we finish with a kind of personal off-the-wall question. In this one, with the arrival or the anxious arrival of a new grandson or daughter in February, let's talk about how awesome it is. I mean, being a grandpa. How many times is it now? This will be 3?
This will be 3, yep.
So talk about the experiences going from being a dad to being grandpa.
Being a dad is awesome, as you're finding out. I mean, it is fantastic. And, having kids is great, and, raising them. And like I said, we talked about Kelly earlier. I mean, she's being the rock when I'm out playing football and coaching and doing all that other stuff. I mean, she's raising those young men and young boys to become men, and she did an awesome job, obviously. And now being a grandpa, it's pretty fun. You get to spend some time with them, and then you go home. Unfortunately, you don't get to spend, but we have sleepovers. They come over and spend some time with us, and some swimming parties and everything else. And matter of fact, Kelly's right over there now today, watching them. And Scott's at school and Lindsay's doing some work, and so she's babysitting right now this morning. But it's very special. I mean, you always think that you can't be any better than your own kids, but then all of a sudden you get grandkids, and it's still pretty special. And I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to the new baby coming, and I'm looking forward to Gwen starting kindergarten here in the next year or so. And there's a lot of more exciting times in your life than just your kids. Now all of a sudden it's your kids and your grandkids, like you said, your grandkids, and it's a lot of fun. Being a grandpa is a lot of fun, by the way. I know not everybody's experienced that, especially in the coaching community, because a lot of them haven't been around that long. But it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. And I love my grandkids, Gwen and Nolan, a lot, and the new one coming, I'm excited and looking forward to it. Really awesome. Looking forward to it.
Coach, thank you as always. My favorite time of the week, spending time with you, talking about life. Hopefully next week we can get it a little bit closer. We can get this divider over here, I guess. Cut out.
That might be me. So you're more tech savvy than I am. I don't know.
I think you did a great job. You did a great job. I was impressed. You knew how to get in here. I am just absolutely. I might be rubbing off on you as much as you've rubbed off on me. So,
I could have done without you. That's for sure.
Thank you very much for this. And again, we'll see you next week. Good luck against Girard.
Thank you so much, DJ. And I appreciate all you do for South Range. And my goodness, I've been enjoying your shows. All of a sudden, you're bringing in an all-star cast with you, with Mike Ackelson, and it's phenomenal what you've done. And I really appreciate what you do again for the kids, and it makes it very special. And thank you, YSN, for everything. I really, really appreciate it. And go Raiders.